can start. My first question is, tell me a little bit about your life as a carver on Saipan.
Life as a carver. I guess, man, that's a deep meaning. So it could be an occupation, a lifestyle. But me, it's more just for, I don't know, kind of like pastime or something like that. But then you don't just carve, right? You create. So that's the artist in everyone. There's different artists. Yeah. But then full-time artist, I full-time carver. Now that's a different level. That's not me. I just carve. Especially I started because I was replicating all this shell jewelry. Uh, I used to make a lot back then, replicating everything that dealing with artifacts. So I try and recreate, and I used to get laughed at back in the 90s. I used to get laughed at wearing something like shells or stones around my neck. And then to come mid 90s, early 2000, now everybody wants to be like a jungle person. But yeah, I'm glad though that it turned out like that. So now they have that education, at least, that they know it's part of the people out here that lived out in these places. Yeah, so it was art, right? But yeah, I started off actually replicating what our ancestors were making, and then come to find out, it just keep doing it, and it's nice to see that it's still around and people still do it. Yeah, tomorrow's still here.
Could you describe some of the things our ancestors used to make?
As far as jewelries, from a lot of documents I've written, turtle shell was mostly priced. So I could imagine if our ancestors were carving stones and shells, twisting them, making designs on it. Imagine what they do to a turtle shell. So that used to be the most priced according to a lot of documents. And also, if you look at our neighboring islands, the Micronesia region, the two oldest people out in Micronesia were the Chamorros, the people in the Marianas, and the people of Palau. Now, if you ask Palau about shell money, you see it's turtle shell plate. So we have that relationship in Micronesia. But being the oldest out here, we were out here, according to archaeological records, 3,500. And with new studies, new technologies, they even dated even earlier, like up to 4,000. So the technology, being out here for that long, migrating to those islands, we carry that technology with us. So we share the same kind of jewelry. It's just what's available out in those areas. But then, like the spondylis shell, very very popular now. Why? Because it's what you can find in archaeological sites. It didn't deteriorate. Imagine it could be laced up with a lot of turtle shell beads, but all we found was shells, because they deteriorate, they decompose, and those are 1,000-year-old stuff. So artifacts like what you just showed me, that's at least 800 to 1,000-year-old, just by knowing that time frame they were really using that. So they had, but not the very little I see with the full-on jewelry, like how we have ours now going. To me, most of the jewelries we found, especially on the human remains that are in place, were scattered spondylus shells just around. So I'm thinking it's more like woven into the fabric. So it could be a sash, woven spondylus bead on it. So that's how. And if you look around to Micronesia we were able to find those spondylus jewelry shells. And yeah, working with archaeology and seeing it firsthand when you open the remains, unearth, or clean out and expose the remains. Yeah. But yeah, very. I can imagine it's only what we can see now. That's what's left behind. But time took a lot. Time, just like the turtle shell being deteriorating for thousands of years. Who knows how that jewelry actually looked like? Yeah, and a lot of things. Some spondylus been very common on sites and other shiny shells. Then you find fish hooks. Yeah. Hi. Just today. Aday lumos. Look how tall you are. Look at. Oh wow! Welcome.
I have another question. So you mentioned that like the shells that are woven into what do you call that? Clothes.
Yeah, I say fabrics. When the Spanish came us, the fabric, the Spanish said that we were all naked. That's only half of the story. It's only what they said. Yeah, but we do have clothing when it's rainy season, when it's cold nights. We do have. The written accounts, you cannot take them all into account because that's only half of the story, and it's only through their eyes, the author's eyes. So it's good information, but not 100%. Yeah. So now archaeology on the other side. Now you see it, the evidence. When you try and match the stories written and what's being found on sites. Yeah.
What about like shells that were found in like ancient remains?
Yeah. Well, most common one would be the clamshell in Noihima. We don't know really what it was. Low. We have that in our culture, the manoi, manofreshi, like manoi. Manofreshi to offer and manoi is to give. So you see when someone dies, we take that ribbon and we put it into the grave. But back then and a lot of the historical accounts write that they believe of life after death. So what we give, that's why we find either sometimes fish hooks with the remains, sometimes sling stones, a lot of sling stones, and then the jewelry. And the shell is not just there as a string of one bead, It's gotta be probably on a mat where they wrap the remains on, or the person, like there's a burial that when they were building the Half-a-Day Tower there, they found remains of a female individual with half spondylus shell beads, like a belt. Yeah. So it's not just a necklace ornament, it's probably woven into a fabric, a dress or something. Not really full-blown dress, because who needs dress and long pants really over here? It's hot weather. No? But for special occasions, we have an attire, the costumes that we use. So those are clothing. Yeah.
Thank you. My next question is, what made you first start dabbling with traditional jewelry in the first place?
Oh, first of all, I hear about Totomona, and we grew up saying this scary. When you say Totomona, it's something scary. It's ghosts. But I think that one grew from what the Spanish were teaching us, because they were telling us to throw away our religion and accept, which is now our Catholic faith. And when we honor our ancestors, we manmofona, no Totomona. That's what it means, the people before us. So that's where I think the Spanish said, don't believe the Topomuna, they're evil. And that's probably the way the story went down, then war broke out. But I was always fascinated with what the Topomuna means. So I have a cousin, I was in Guam. He worked for archaeological firms there. He recently passed away. His name is Alfred Mosca. He was the first person who showed me what the Topomona meant. So I looked, what is that? And in his hand he had a sling stone, the higam, the axe blade, and a fish hook. So he showed that to me and I touched it, and then I got deep into it and I started seeing what else this Topomona people make. Then I started replicating, and I grew on that actually, replicating fishing equipment, jewelry, sling stones, and experiment. So I was trying all of those, just trying to see how would it really work. And then that's just barely scratching the surface, because you really need the sense of, you know, knowing their seasons, knowing how to live on these islands. Yeah. Because back then everybody was in tune with environment. They know it's gonna rain. They don't need to look at Weather Channel or what. They just see insects. They know big rain coming. They see plants blooming. They know it's this type of fish that are here. Signs. That's how we were all connected. Now we use modern technology, but then it's not even a guarantee. So yeah, we lost the old ways, and then I start picking up on that, listening to my grandparents, my mom, my grandma. Yeah, she would show me medicinal plants, name, and talk about stories. A lot of the stories were all mainly about Japanese times, but she practiced the traditional making of oil, salt, weaving, medicine making. Yeah. So from there, yeah, I just started picking up. And also, especially, growing up in like a farm place now, you're not really in tune with, the modern stuff we wanted to have, like those modern stuff you see on TV back then. You can afford it, you don't need it. Yeah. So a lot of it plays a role with that. Because now when I do jewelry making and stuff like that, they ask me how much is this and this. It all depends actually who's the buyer. If it's a relative, a friend, sometimes it just goes for free. It's not really the value there. I don't know. That's me. Some people just really start making the traditional jewelry. Why? Because it makes money. I like to see people who really appreciate my work. And if, maybe for the material, the time, a little bit money, that's good. Well, generous. Depends situations, no? Low, depending who the customer is. That's a big one. So that's how pricing is. So, basically I just started off replicating stuff, ancient stuff.
About the history of traditional Chinese jewelry?
Not much, and it's just through archaeological evidence that you see what's left behind. And like I said, the turtle shell, we don't see it in the graves because they deteriorate. And some people now would look at shark tooth as part of jewelry too, but then I read there's some archaeological records. It's a tool also, the shark tooth. In fact, they say they use that for their drill bits, for drilling. But then you see jewelry. I tried recovering a human remain with a shark shark tooth one. So yeah, it's a jewelry.
So, my next question is, you mentioned it a little bit, how like in the early 90s, they would laugh at you because you wanted to replicate, but now everyone is,
Oh yeah.
they practice it. Like, are there any other ways that shell making has grown and changed?
A lot of it is more of a, what is it, modern twist. You know, it's not really replicating what our ancestors were making, but the material being a spondylus, they convert it into anything now. They fashion it into fish hook just for jewelry use, but not for real fishing. But because of the material, it seems to be as a price there, being spondylus, and it's spondylus crazy. Yeah, so that's how now modern artists now do with jewelry. I mean, there's other nice shells and rocks out there that you can carve out and turn it into nice jewelry. But because it's not spondylus, like what the Chamorros were using back then, maybe that was the selling point, no? So almost every artist would inlay something with spondylus. I do myself. I make earring spondylus. But yeah, being the material, it's like sort of like the identity for being the Chamorro jewelry now. I think so. But yeah, others would probably think differently.
My next question is, what are some ways you've seen traditional jewelry unite our people?
It's the sharing of the material. Yeah, that's a big one. So some people they will know this guy, but this guy has stash of jewelry, spondylus. They get to know each other, and then from there sometimes we learn from each other. You know, like what do you use for drilling? They teach you. Oh, you buy this kind of bit, this kind of tool. It's good for drilling. Oh, okay. So you know, they exchange. Someone wants the material, someone got educated. It works back and forth. So that's one way of how our people were uniting. It's by sharing that material. If it's about traditional jewelry. And then it's nice, you know, some people will just identify someone just through the jewelry. Being the what they call the Sinoni, and then like, we don't know the real name of it, but it became so popular being called Sinoni. So automatically, when you see someone like that, it's either that person is from Guam or Saipan or Carver. If not, then he visited our place in the Marianas, so he can identify. The person. But some, you know, I tried making, and there were German couples. German couples were, they wanted it. Maybe because that's what I told them, that we found this in archaeological sites, and we think they were jewelry. Because it's very rare found. It's not a fishing implement or a tool, because if it was, it would be very common to find. But it's rare to find. So it might be a piece of jewelry, and who gets to wear it, I'm not sure. Maybe who knows how to make it on the wears it. Yeah. So I see it that way, in a sense of like uniting. Because I experienced this when I was in transiting way to United flight. Yeah. But some, nowadays, yeah, different artists, this different perspective. But as far as saying traditional jewelry, like now I make the jewelry the traditional as I can. I'm using bandanos to make my strings for necklace bracelet. And but the material, no, spondylus shell. Like I said, because of that material, a lot of our people mainly get it. But then there's folks from mainland who don't care about the spondylus, but likes the C class, So you see mainly like our people who wanna get connected to get grounded, kind of wear it or maybe buy it for a friend. But it's nice. It's nice. It's still around. We're still here. We're still doing it. And different artists now just do lots of nice ones. But to me, they had a lot of it, because when we unearth a burial, sometimes we only find one spondylus smoking. I don't see it being a necklace. It could be a button for a top or a cloak, or I don't know, the map, a design on the map. But yeah, it's the material that kind of, this is the jewelry. The only other thing the man we were all thinking was using that senohin. Only that. Yeah, and we find some beads like the cone shells being rounded off into beads. That's another one. That's it. Maybe. Not much.
So now we're gonna move on to the second section. When you make your jewelry or carve, could you tell me a little bit about the process?
The process. If you were gonna do it traditionally, it's a lot of rubbing, a lot of cracking. But now we have the modern tools, right? So it's nice to clean your material first and look at it. With some materials, you say you see a shape, but when you cut into it or start grinding off, it's a crack in there. There's a hole in there. There's a defect. So when you start working with jewelry, you see what you have. You clean it up and see how much you have, and then see what's on your mind, what you're gonna do. Yeah. Okay. Clean up your material. The actual process, right? Or like we have to go get permits, kind, because nowadays you have to, when you're gonna go get shells, you have to go and respect the law, no? Which is good. You know why? Because we're not the only ones that harvest shells. You have some people that are more animal than you, because you cannot, you're at home, you're taking care of someone or doing something at the farm. Well, this person has nothing to do but drive to the beach and collect every day, all day. We cannot do that. We have our things businesses. So that's where it protects us, the way I see it. It protects us from folks like that have that leisure to really go and hunt it down. But for us, we're kind of like up in the fire, like, this is local stuff, this is yani. So there's gotta be a boundary, but as long as we fly the red, white, and blue liner, we cannot say this is only for us. Yeah. So that's good. You get permits like that and clean up your shells.
My next question is, do you think there are any emotional intentions that come with carving or making jewelry?
Oh yeah. There's some different emotions. Some people just want to carve to outblow the person's own jewelry, whatever carving. Some people really like that shell or stone or something, and even making it, especially if it's already planned for someone. Yeah. So that like there's no price on that one. Phenomenal, sentimental. So yeah, emotions like that. Yeah.
What are some of the things that you discovered since the beginning of your carpentry?
Since the beginning, I used to be laughed at. In English, it says, trying to be like the people from the jungle. I never forget that phrase. But yeah, I was wearing shells and I was wearing bone, but not just plain bone. I carved it into a hook, or I make like, I don't know, spikes come out of like the sea urchin spine, and those are all jewelry our ancestors used to make. So I got that. But then towards the mid 90s to the early 2000s, wow, everybody, there's a lot of people that came back. Hey, you still make that? Blah, blah, blah. No more. Why, you want to be totoo ng tano? Yeah, but I'm glad it grew, no? Like I said. And then they appreciate now just. So when you see someone wearing a shell, hey, Lana, Fanan Islanders, out there in the mainland. Or even there, they're like Native Americans don't know that it's shell for their jewelry. But in particular, spondylus, when you see and you look at the person, maybe from the Madamas. But yeah, that's the stuff. So I, started growing a lot. A lot was trying to find the tools. I used to carve only with drill bit and chisels and file. Now Dremel, wow. When folks from Guam came over for Festback on 1991, I saw Dremel. And I even took the brochure of the Dremel and I kept it. I don't know how to order that stuff. Later on, it started showing up. Find it in Guam, bought, and I experiment with the bits it came with. They work, but not as when we grew, start learning about different kind of bits to use. The materials, the diamond and carbide, what cuts better, what hooks holes better. It became really a lot easier. It's not easy, but a lot easier. Well, imagine all those, our ancestors back then, really just manually. Or they had their own kind of technology, or just put a stone and rock it back and forth and there you go. We don't know. Our ancestors were so smart. They already came up with a Dremel. It's not electric power. Yeah.
Next question. Do you have any pieces that you are currently working on?
Yeah. Actually, Flame Tree's coming up next weekend. Are you in there, Anna?
No, I don't.
Yeah, this is my first time to join Flame Tree since, I don't know, maybe more than 15 years ago. But then, so now I'm rushing. I'm rushing to make some stuffs and my tools are not complete. So it's almost like I'm back where I started, learning how to use the file and the drill. Yeah. So it's just like that. A lot of it is shells, but even stone. When you see a stone and you see something and you show it, see if someone else likes it. And it's art, no? It's art. It's what you see, and because I've done some other carvings where this is like my top piece, man. This is the one. Never sold it. Nobody liked it. Yeah. Different strokes, different folks. No?
My next question is, are there any difficulties that come with being a carver?
I mean, if you were just doing it for leisure like that, then thoughts are difficulties. That's me. I want to do it on my time, relax, and I call it playing. You know, and I have stuff to do. I raise animals and got farm, but you're sitting down, grinding and shaping, carving. So it's playing. That's the difficult part. There is the obtaining the tools. The three main ingredients I always tell folks that want to learn is the time, the material, and the tools. Those are the only three main ingredients you have. You can do it. You have the time and the silana. You need the skill. You develop skill through that. So you keep at it. And then the material, of course, you need. And then, oh man, very big rope. The tools makes it a lot easier. You have the right tools. So those are difficult parts of obtaining the tools. If you were to do it traditionally, it's even harder. You can do it, but it's harder because, like I said, it's stringing up shells, and first you gotta put holes on the shells, stringing them up, running them on stone, and you grind it up the way you like to see. It's hard. So the tools would be a big struggle there. Modern carving, no? With soap. You need those. And honestly, back then I was converting stuff. But then Dremel made it easier, you know, putting all the bits, and they educate me using the diamond. What? Okay. And you know what makes it even more easy now? You have YouTube, your teacher that you can rewind and how again? You can, yeah, that's a good advantage of the technology in that way. If you want to learn, you have a teacher already. You don't have to bother anyone. You don't have to sit next to the person to show you how it's done. If you have a cell phone, TV, you can learn from that. So that one you would put under tools also, no? At YouTube, there be no tools. Yes.
Yes. Oh, my next question is, were there any pieces you made that have been your favorite?
Yeah. There are pieces. I replicated Spondylus bead, graduated. So it's like pearls, circle from middle to small. It happens to be my wife's piece. Yeah. So from far away you would think it's just poles of Spondylus, but you cannot have poles of Spondylus because Spondylus is a two shell. So by cutting half straight and the other one sphere, you put them together like that. It makes a bowl. So this I copied from a grave when we were working at the casino site. I saw this on our ancestors. I was the person who worked on it, and I took pictures and even everything. And then some carvers there, like si Greg Pangilinan from Guam, they looked at it and morning yun at Sakisti. Like, oh no, he said, Molig na idea. I don't know how you came up with that idea. Like, wow, copy. Yeah, see, thoughts are released. Like, manyanata Steve copy. It's a natural grief. So I replicated it. that's what it was. I replicate. And then even me, that was my favorite piece, and that belonged to my wife. It took a while, so you know how it is, no? It's hard to find a thick shell, a spondylus shell, that orange, that thick. Yeah, it's hard. Well, maybe in a gallon you can probably only put out 3 pieces of that. And then you're gonna try and carve to take out only the color that you want.
My next question is, what kind of relationship was carving or wearing jewelry bring for you?
Relationship when I use my jewelry. Wala na big time, if I don't have my necklace on, I feel naked. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I just get connected to it, no? So, but then, like I mentioned earlier, no, that it's kind of like a distinction already, just knowing people from Marianas. When you see people with spondylus jewelry on, it's like an identity already. Hey, he's from Guam or Road and Saipan. If not, then it's a visitor who came by Marianas and got a jewelry. Hey! There you go.
So my last question is, for those who aren't familiar with the beauty of our traditional jewelry, how would you wish they would begin to immerse themselves? How would you wish they would begin to immerse themselves or learn about it?
Oh yeah. The more people wear it, it makes people ask questions. Okay, that's interesting. Are those all shells? Yeah, and these shells are blah 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 blah. They get educated, no? So once we educate our folks out there about it, it's the best way people can really say and appreciate. Some people just get the spondylus shell, not do anything to it but clean it. Just show the orange color, and that's it. That's a very priced piece for that person. Why? Because she understands the meaning of that shell, and maybe even where that shell came from. So those play a big role in, the jewelry alone. Like I said, the material. Because a lot of the jewelry designs are, I don't know, there's no really, they deteriorated. We only hear it written. So what's left are only like the spondylus shells, the shark bones, the hema, shark teeth, and the clam shells. That's all that's left. Imagine what deteriorate. Maybe the nice pandanus woven turtle shell bell or what. Never know. It's gone. It's gone with time.
So before we conclude, is there anything else that you would like to talk about that we haven't really touched on?
Not too much. I just hope, there's, like I said, educating people or even folks that are interested. Educating them about the jewelry, the material, because mainly it's the material. Why is it on there? But I want a blue shell, not an orange shell. When you educate them that this orange shell is what our ancestors were using as not really jewelry maybe, but part of their decorative ornament, that may strike something to that person. So by educating our people out there, they might get them more interested. And imagine if they want to make their own, tell them to apply permit, because they might beat us to the spots.
Before I end the recording, do you have any books or papers you think I should read about in order to learn more on my end?
Oh yeah, if you wanted to check HBO has a publication section. You look for the Scott Russell's book. It's called Manmofona, Toto Manmofona.
I think that's what Tyler was talking about too.
Yeah. So there's that. Remember the human remains I tell you about the spondylus belt? Okay, so it's in that book.
It's in there?
Yeah, it's in that book. So,
Manmofona?
yeah, Tempun Manmofona. That's the name by Scott Russell. So, going to HBO, it's free. Just say, can I look at publications of this?
Where's HBO?
Now it's down there at Garpan. You see the Coban or no, the housing area in Garpan?
Oh, I think I just saw it.
Okay. There's boats parked outside. So HBO's office is in both buildings, but the ones that's not with the boat on the right side, that's the main office. Publications are in there.
Okay.
And you can even access archaeological records, you know, like I don't know who would you look for, whose research found spondylus or what, but Tempun Manmofona had the book with the picture of the queen of Anagua or something. She's probably the princess of Anagua. I want to put her like that level because the way the burial was decorated. But then there's even a female individual. We recovered 400 sling stones. Sling stones, nice polished sling stones, and very pointed. So she was buried with that.
On top or the side?
Everything from the top and a lot on the side. So
Was it nicely put down or thrown at them?
no, I think they were all set down. There's some buckets, so maybe it could be in a basket and set down. And there's a concentration of that.
The picture you say you duplicated, do you have the picture? Is it in the book? Your wife has it.
Oh no, that's the shell, the one I made.
Do you have this
No.
picture of them?
No. But I think, yeah, Scott Russell has a little portion of it talking about it. Yeah.
That's nice.
About the spondylus beads. Yeah. So that's the only, you know, like what's left found on archaeological site being traditional jewelry. Well, like I said, we don't know. They use pandanus leaf with turtle shells decorated or something. So it's a must price. Turtle shells must price. Spondylus are just like, they're actually food. Huh? So you harvest, you eat, and then hey, this nice shell, you scrub it, and the color stays orange. Let's make something.
I know they like orange. Spondylus, that's what they're. So I wanted to ask like how rare is it?
Oh yeah, that's rare. That's rare. But you like the purple color, no?
Yes.
But it is a spondylus looking. I've found, you know, living up there in Paugan, I found a spondylus shell, half purple, half orange. You found it?
Yeah. What's it pink?
Yeah.